You know, Sadie, I have to say, you know, I was thinking when I was, as we were talking about before even we got on, I was like, oh, this would be like 10 to 15 minutes. We're going on minute 24, which isn't surprising because we could probably talk for days about a lot of different topics. The one thing that I did want to end on, which is one that we kind of, well, the two questions, my mind goes two questions I want to end on, is the two questions that we'd be able to ask a lot of the other people that we've done the PCBH Corner with is one, if there were students, if there were early career professionals, if there were people that might be mid to late career professionals that are now thinking about transitioning into integrated care, whether that be primary care or another medical clinic, whatever it might be, what suggestions would you have for them? What advice would you give them for people that are trying to make this jump right now?
Well, I have to go back to the UMass course because that was designed specifically for people who want to make that jump. That one of the things we found, and that's been in the recent literature, is that people who come straight from what turns out to be specialty mental health care in their training as clinical social workers or psychologists tend not to have been prepared specifically for the culture and the pace and the teamwork that's basic to primary care. So if you had primary care as part of your training and you had a placement in primary care as you came through your training, then you probably are good to go. But if you didn't, taking a course would be a good idea. And in fact, while I recommend the UMass course, there's also, if you go to my website, there's a link to Workforce. And on that Workforce site that you go to, you'll find a list of several courses that you can go get over the web. It's not just the UMass course. So take a course, swallow your pride, take a course. It'll make things go a lot better for you. The other thing that I run into, particularly with doctoral students, is they think of primary care as kind of a niche. If I go into primary care, then I'm committed to that and I'm not sure I want to do that. And I would like to tell you, it is not a niche. It is a major area of practice, and everything that you do in primary care, you will want to take with you if you go somewhere else. You'll be happy that you learned it. You'll have a flexibility that you wouldn't have had. You'll be able to work with populations that you didn't think you would be able to work with before. And that will give you confidence wherever you go. This is a generalist beginning to a career, not necessarily a niche that you end up with at the end of your career.
I love how you just said this is a generalist at the beginning of your career. That's really cool. That's really cool. All right, great advice. Last question for you, and I'll let you go here. And I think you kind of talked about this a little bit, and I'm sure this is what kind of prompted the book, the recent book as well. But my last question is, what's your hope for the future? What's the next evolution? What are you hoping that, you know, integrated care, as it continues to gain popularity, as it continues to, I still want to call it necessarily the norm, but it's becoming more the norm, it's becoming more of the routine. What's the next step? What's the next evolution that you're hoping happens?
Well, first you have to sort of look above you and say that the U.S. health system doesn't completely go away or fall in on itself. In all of the stress that we're looking at, not just from the current virus, but from the current organization. But it's worth being aware that in other countries that have one universal access health system, some have done okay with integration, but many have not. The universal access doesn't make integration work well in and of itself. But I would like to see the ways that the best integrated care sites are developing be much more available to other places to know about. If you look at places like, I mean, I don't know your shop, but I do know Cherokee's shop well. And if you look at those folks and every time you think, okay, I'm caught up with Cherokee and I know what they're doing, they've done something else. And it's because they've been at it a long time. because integration is absolutely core. It's not special, it's not new, it's just healthcare. When you get to the place where behavioral health expertise is basic to healthcare just as much as medical expertise, then you've got something that you begin to build on. And it has a mindset to it. It has a mindset around teaming. And that teaming helps you bring in the patient. I mean, if you can stand to have a mental health person on your team and have this whole second expertise set, well, we might as well just add the patient's expertise set. They know a lot about themselves. And then that teaming and that sense of working together then spills out into the community. And you find some of these primary care sites being hubs that unify community services for particular populations. And that, when you start to see that, then it's really inspiring. Then you feel like this is how people can be if they're in the right setting. And so that, when I see the community piece and the inevitable working together and inevitably thinking differently about the mind and the body. You cannot think that the mind and body are somehow separate if you do this work for very long. It eats your mind. You end up thinking that people are just sort of one person and they have illnesses. And sometimes the illness is called depression, and sometimes the illness is called diabetes. And it has different doorways to help them make it better. And if you make it better over here, it tends to get better. And so
absolutely, it's infusing the humanity, I think, back into it. You know,
it really
that's
does.
cool. And I love the way you're framing this as well. Is that, you know, when behavioral health integration can become it's a necessity. It's not a nicety. It's just part of healthcare.
It's just healthcare. It's not.
It's just healthcare.
No, it's healthcare.
Amen. Amen. Well, Sandy, thank you so much. You know, I'm really excited to get this. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And obviously, again, people look for, obviously the book is out. Check out the website. Again, the website is what again, Sandy?
IntegratedPrimaryCare.com.
Pretty easy to remember, IntegratedPrimaryCare.com. So check it out. But thank you again for taking some time to join with us. Obviously,